Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, actually, I'm glad it's not sunny today and it's raining, because you know what? You guys are committed, because you're standing in the rain. If it was sunshine, you'd be out for a day out. And today, this means something to you. So I love you all for being here and doing what you're doing and supporting Black Lives Matter and the movement for equality for all of us. Now, for some of my white friends, colleagues, you lovely people out there, what coronavirus has done is actually shown you that when things are taken out of your hands and you're helpless, it's not a good place to be. It is not a good place to be. Coronavirus, you can't breathe. Some of us got that double whammy of coronavirus and oppression that means we can't breathe. And that ain't good, is it? So I get people asking me, hold on a second, why were you coming here today? Because you know what? Something happened in America. It's got nothing to do with the UK and Peterborough. And I said, it's got everything to do, because racism is global. It is the original goddamn pandemic. Yeah? The only thing is, it's not been around for about 3 months. It's been around for hundreds of years. It's had people on their knees for centuries, and it's time to stop this. It really is. If we're going to learn anything, the time is up right now. And seeing so many of you today is amazing. Now I'm going to bring this back to Peterborough, because I'm a son of Peterborough. I was born in this city 58 years ago. My family, the first Asian family in this city. So I know what it's like. I love this city, I love the people of this city. The city hasn't always been great to me, but I still love it back. So what? Which of us wants to be a slave? None of us. We want our own identity. If you went there today and somebody said to you, your child's going to have to change their name, you would be horrified. But that was a time in the 1960s. And God, we put up with it. But it's not acceptable to get people to bend so that you've got to do it their way. We've got to do it our way. And they've got to be respectful of that. Bringing you a bit closer to date, 1983, 500 yards from here, near the river, there is a floating restaurant. It was called the Grain Barge in 1983, and I was 21 years old. My birthday in July. Presents next month or so, please. But sitting out there with my brother and one of our English friends, we were set upon by 6 white men. They were skinheads, and they gave us a beating for no reason, for just being like this, looking like this. The police station was across the road, and actually people came and went and they saw what was going on. They didn't do much. They finally walked across the road. We were bloodied and beaten, and by this time the perpetrators had walked off. And I said to the young officer, I said, get those guys, look what they've done to us. And instead of doing anything, his first question was, what are you doing in this side of town? I said, seriously? This side of town? Because I lived in Cromwell Road, the ghetto. It was the ghetto back then. It was the ethnic area. If you looked like this or you were dark, you lived in a ghetto. And what the hell were you doing sitting down drinking with white people? That scared the hell out of me. In fact, I was angry. And you know what I called him? An ignorant pig. I got arrested. So I got arrested for saying that, and these guys just walked off. But funny enough, when I got taken to the police station, and 6 weeks earlier I'd done some cultural work and actually presented to the police in Huntingdon. And when they said, you get a chance of a phone call, and I said, you know what, on a phone, the inspector, the guy in charge of this area, the commander, and I dropped his name. And some of these guys dropped their guts because they realised, shit, we got the wrong dude here. I was let go pretty quickly with some apologies, but it didn't change my mind at the time. Now, I'm not down on the police, I'm not dissing the police. I've got family in the police, they do a great job, and as many of the speakers have said before, there are some good people out there doing a good job in tough situations, but there are also some people who should be protecting, serving, and looking after all of us, and they don't. And they need to be in a different job, because if you can't be looking after the people you're intended to protect, get another goddamn job! And then we know we've got a madman across the water. Hopefully in November they'll replace this goddamn sucker with somebody with some compassion, some humility, some humanity and a brain. But you know what, we've been through it over here because we had a thing called Brexit. And what Brexit did, it was a lit a fire under unfortunately some white folks who think, you know what, we got our country back. Yeah? If it wasn't for people like us, you wouldn't have a country right now. You would not have a country right now. Yeah? What this virus has shown is that our hospitals are being run by people like us. And this death toll would have been catastrophic without people. So please respect people, all people. Yeah? I actually had people the weekend after the Brexit vote. I was walking in from my house in Eastfield Road into town. Had a group of guys standing in a pub drinking. They were middle-aged white guys, and they shouted, "Keep walking, mate, we got our country back." And I'm like, hang on, are you talking to me? And okay, I went over and confronted 5 drunk white guys, which is not a sensible thing to do when you look like this. But you know what? I don't just run away from arguments. And nobody should run away from anything, even drunken bigots. So I said to them, sorry, I was born here. I was born in Peterborough, in fact. And the guy said to me, a dog born in a stable isn't a horse. Yeah. Obviously, the guy learned to read at some point in time. So I then said to him, I said, sorry, I was born here. He goes, no, your people, your parents weren't. I said, no, you're right, they weren't. They were born in India. But I said, how many generations do you want to go back? Because if you go back a few hundred years, chances are your ancestors weren't born here. Yeah, they weren't. I said to him, you could well be German. You, mate, with your Roman nose could be Italian. And the one who was the mouthiest, I said, chances are you're probably French. Woo! You know what? You call a middle-aged white guy French, English white guy French, that pisses him off big time. So he wasn't happy with that. But you know, they lost that argument, but I realised in that day that unfortunately sometimes fires are stoked. People are crazy about this stuff. We cannot let them, if they're going to be crazy, we need to be crazy, but not in a violent way, but in a sensible way, in a mature way, in making our point known. Look, for anybody out there that, I mean, I do a little bit of running. I run the odd marathon or so, and you know, one thing I appreciate with runners is we look after our own. If we see somebody struggling, we go up and we put an arm around them, we try to help them. We try to make sure no one is left behind. And that's what we need to do right now, because you know what? I keep hearing this stuff. When we say Black Lives Matter, some sucker will come out and say, but all lives matter.
Fuck that shit!
And that is exactly it. But you know what? The thing is, when Black Lives Matter, all lives will automatically matter. They just will. They just will. Yeah? It's a no-brainer because you brought everybody with you. You've left no one behind. And when there's no one left behind, we're all at the front. We are all at the front. So look, the view here is, you know, people are saying, what do we need to do about this? And I'm encouraged by seeing so many young people here, and I've got folks to put their kids out. You know what? I'm a grandfather, and we talk to our kids, we talk to our grandkids, and you know, we talk about the dangers in life, the perils, and one of the big ones we say is the danger of drugs. Extend that conversation, the danger of racism, the danger of being judgmental, the danger of being bigoted, the danger of not understanding. So please, the way we move forward, educate our kids. Don't use the N-word, don't use the P-word, don't say, man, you look like a terrorist because you look like this. That's just being judgmental. That is just pure wrong. Yeah? So we need to actually make sure we're bringing the next generation up, raise people up. Yeah? And I think, you know, I'll leave my last words to probably somebody far more inspirational than myself, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, you know, the world will be a better place when we actually judge people by the content of their character and not the colour of their skin. Thank you.